Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Des Moines Challenge. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, here with our 2021 World Champion in James Conrad. James, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks, Terry.
So last weekend, instead of taking a weekend off, we found you competing at the Minnesota Majestic, a PDGA A-tier event. Great atmosphere and people up there, but how did it feel stepping into that event now as a world champion?
It was fun. Definitely, it kind of felt a little bit like I had nothing to prove out there, and I definitely wouldn't say I was very focused on that tournament. It was fun to get out and keep throwing some discs and to compete again so quickly, but I think I played one league round as a practice round, and then just had a lot on the plate last week trying to catch up with people and respond to different correspondence and such. So definitely wasn't too focused on it, but it did feel good to be out there playing. And even on the fourth card or whatever I found myself, I had a big gallery following my card. People were stoked to see me out there and stoked to see me playing, so that was a ton of fun.
Well, and that leads to my next question, which is, are you feeling any effects of a world championship hangover? And you know, obviously you're busier now, but is there anything that feels different as you're moving into the second half of the season?
I wouldn't say, not at least as far as my golf game does anything feel different, but in some ways it might add a little pressure. It's like a reputation to live up to, but on the other hand, it kind of feels like I don't have to prove myself or anything. You know, I've already done something pretty amazing this season. Not that I don't want to continue to succeed, but it's a little weight off the back, I guess.
So we moved specifically to Des Moines to play this course, one we haven't seen at an Elite Series event at any other point before. What are some of your takeaways? How are you going to attack the course?
I'm excited to play Pickard. I've played the Des Moines Challenge once before, I think 2017. We played 4 courses on 2 days back then, though, so it was definitely a little bit more demanding, and you didn't get as much time on any one course. But Pickard's looking awesome. They've done a ton of work out here, I can tell. They've given us a bit of an extended layout, and I think the front 9 plays quite challenging out here. I think if you can get a lot of pars, hopefully pick up a couple birdies and have a clean front 9, the back 9's a lot more scoreable, so that's kind of my game plan going in. I'd say the biggest thing I'm worried about is the weather. Some of these turf tee pads felt pretty slick yesterday when it had been raining, and obviously my throw's pretty reliant on trusting my footwork and really attacking with my run up, so that gets a little more challenging if the tee pads feel a bit slick, but hoping for the best.
And that's one thing we haven't seen much of this year is inclement weather or rain. Knock on wood, it could get past us. But is there anything specific that you're going to do to make sure that you're fully prepped for that if we do see some kind of inclement weather like rain?
I think I'll just make sure I have plenty of towels, have an umbrella with me. I might actually bring less discs if I think the weather's going to be bad, and just get comfortable throwing a few of them and throwing those discs pretty often.
All right. I believe we also have Zach from the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Hey, James. Zach with the DGPT.
Hey, Zach.
So just want to go back to Worlds for 1 second. You obviously won in spectacular fashion, and I just want to ask you about that week after. Was it crazy getting so many media requests and being so much in demand? Can you just talk about that kind of week after Worlds for a minute?
Sure. Yeah, it was definitely busier than normal for me. I've been on some podcasts before, but I made a few different podcast appearances, one with Terry here and on Smashbox and Nick and Matt's show. If you didn't see those, go check them out. And then, it's been fun. Like, it was almost overwhelming at times, pulling up to the course and just people almost just kind of swarming me, like, oh my gosh, I want a picture, I want an autograph. But it's good feelings, but I'm a bit introverted, so sometimes it's a bit overwhelming when I have like a lot of people trying to get my attention at once. But yeah, overall fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, good luck this weekend. Back to Terry here.
All right, and then just one final question for you, because we're seeing you in this spotlight and so many people are pulling for you. We're going to give you a moment. What's the best way for people to approach you or not? Do you have any tips or strategies? Of course, everyone's trying to pull on you. Use this as a little bit of an opportunity to kind of express what the best way is and how you feel most comfortable with interacting with everyone.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for the prompt. I think it's most overwhelming for me, like, as soon as I pull up, if I'm like still like, getting my shoes on and getting my bag out of my van, I feel like that's a little overwhelming at that time to be approached by a bunch of people. But once I'm, actually out on the course, like away from my van or my home, and if I'm hanging out around the pavilion or lingering around hole one or near the end of a course or anything like that, is a great time. But yeah, I feel like, my van it's obviously very visible, but it's also my home, and it's nice to have like a little bit of personal space around that.
All right. Well, good for everyone to know out there for how they can come up and get your autograph at the right times. James Conrad, our world champion. Best of luck to you this week.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you. Joining us now is our 2-time world champion, Kat. That puts a big smile on your face. How does that sound even now?
Sounds really good.
So, of course, we're here in Des Moines this week, but you didn't compete in any competitive event last week. What were some of the things that you were doing, and was that relaxing, or was that just more prep for the second half of the season?
I actually put the discs away. Didn't touch one until we got here Tuesday. So that was nice. And actually felt good to throw again, like kind of, take a break. Spent some time back in Minnesota, getting up on the lake and on the boat and, I had friends take me to dinner and got me a gift to celebrate. I did got on K-Fan in Minnesota and also on a podcast. On a college friend's dad has a podcast. He works for the news, and so we did that. But yeah, really just kind of enjoyed it. I'll say the drive was the longest. I just wanted out of the car and to celebrate. And
so those were some of the physical things, which sounds like it was
Yeah.
good and relaxing. How do you mentally prepare yourself to come back after winning the World Championships? Of course, this is an Elite Series event, and we have a really long grind in the next few weeks. How do you mentally prep yourself to be ready to go again starting tomorrow?
Right. I remember we stopped over after we were leaving Utah, and Ricky was like, someone's going to have to drag you on the course. Like, right? Because you're kind of just like, so, it's like you feel like you can relax, but then it's just the grind. And I feel like that's something I've been really good at, and I think that's what keeps me so consistent, maybe not as many wins as I'd like, but always in the hunt or always in the top 3. And I think just my routine is what Austin said, and I were kind of talking, and he's like, you've just been so good at no matter what time they move your tea time, you still get up, go to the gym, you still, it looks exactly the same. I just go to bed earlier or wake up later. And so I think all those things help me, mentally just be ready. And so I think that routine is just really paying off.
And maybe if you could elaborate just a little bit on that.
Yeah.
The World's routine was different. You went back to,
Right.
Playing in the morning, and then now we're going to be back on the Elite Series, playing in the afternoons again. As you were just saying, that's just shifting your time zone a little bit internally?
Yeah. So actually I've been able to, for some reason, get back up earlier. And I'll probably, for Worlds, I would actually just wake up 3 hours before my tea, make sure to take a nice cold shower, wake myself up. And something that was very different is to eat that early. I normally don't eat until about noon or 1 on a normal day. And so forcing some of the ribeye down, and I actually added some liver and heart to the diet that week. Dr. Paul Saladino would be proud of me. But just adjusting, and I think just having an open mind to the different tea times. That was something I struggled with when they first were later. It just felt like that time of day where I would normally not be out on the course. So just trying to be open about what time I tea and just make sure to find a routine. And
So now we're just a few hours south of Minnesota. Of course, you have roots here, and we're actually going to be in the Midwest for the next month or so.
Yeah.
Speak a little bit to the support and maybe some of the feelings that you get when you're here in the Midwest where your disc golf career got started.
So the Des Moines Challenge, I think, was it called the First Class Challenge? I think back when I played it in 2011 or 2010 as an amateur, I got last place. Thank you very much. It was my second tournament, I think, ever. And I had just won, and I remember having like 4 to 10 new drivers in my bag. I had no idea what I was doing. And these courses are incredibly difficult. I remember that. But yeah, so definitely. Same with, being in Minnesota for the Preserve or D-Glow. Discraft was a sponsor of mine. I'm actually going to stay with Mike Wagner, and so all the feels. And of course I love going down to Ledgestone. That was a tournament that was kind of like a small A tier that I hoped no one ever found out about, because it was a great payout, because Nate runs a great tournament, and then he invited thousands of people to my tournament. So I love being in the Midwest, obviously, because I'm from here, and it reminds me of, just the weather reminds me of going out and practicing before I would go to work and things like that.
All right, and I think Zach's got a question for you.
Hi, Kat. How's
Hi.
it going?
Good, thank you.
That's awesome. So just along that line of questioning, do you find that being from the Midwest gives you any sort of advantage here in the second half of the season?
I mean, maybe dealing with the humidity better. I noticed I've never really been a birdie bag or, whale sack or anything like that. I've never used that, and I think it comes from starting in the Midwest. So the temperature I don't really have grip issues and things. So maybe that'll be beneficial. But yeah, I don't mind playing anywhere.
Yeah. And one more question for you, just to go back to that incredible Worlds victory a few weeks ago. You've talked a lot about consistency, the grind, putting the work in. Do you find that any harder to do now that you've captured that second world title?
No, because one thing I told myself before the season even started is that no matter what happens, just stick to my routine, have a good mindset, stick to, be mentally in it as long as you can, till the end of the hole, which obviously at Worlds worked out really well for me. But and then as soon as Monday starts, back to my routine, keep that behind you and just keep always looking forward. Don't let a bad finish or, a bad last hole that maybe means I didn't win the last tournament deter me from all these things that I'm doing that I think are really building my game up.
Well, and then I'm going to follow that up
Okay.
and contradict what you just said real quick and ask, have you gone back to that shot on 18? Have you relived that moment here a couple weeks later? I know you said you don't like to backtrack, but that was a good moment.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Did you? What are you thinking about that shot and that finish?
I just go back to the emotion I showed and felt in that moment. Like I have talked about, there was just this thought all weekend that, I felt so confident on that hole. I didn't care if I was right, left. I just knew right where to throw that F7. And so, yeah, I mean, I went back and watched it, but I really just like to see me, I'm a player who prides myself in more of like a miss the putt, make the putt, throw it in, not. My emotion stays pretty even. I feel I play my best at that, in that emotion. And so it was kind of fun to see me get really excited.
You were pumped. All right. I swear this is the last question.
Okay.
We've heard that you love this course.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on this course.
I mean, I already liked Pickard. I've always enjoyed playing Pickard. It's probably will always, if I look back at playing this tournament for however many years, it's probably one of my best rounds every year. And then they were like, oh, you like it? Well, now you're going to love it. I can see the work that they put in. I love that, I think I've said this a bunch, but I love a course where I feel like I can play golf, play shots, and then if I get out of position, I really feel like there's a place to be to save the par. I feel like it's a thrower's course, and I just think, it's beautiful. I feel like, it's kind of like a Jonesboro with more woods and more OB. Yeah.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Again, your 2021 World Champion, Katrina Allen. Best of luck.
Thank you. See you guys.
Joining us now is 5-time world champion Paul McBeth. Paul, how you doing?
Doing well.
So, we have to know, what did you do with your time off? We didn't see you on the PDGA schedule last week playing in any events. What did you do with your time off?
I went back home for a week. It was a while, I feel like, since I had been there. So went back, got some stuff pretty much ready for the second half of the swing. You know, after World, it's pretty much go until Disc Golf Pro Tour finale. So kind of just spent some time there and, you know, just kind of got ready to hit the big trip.
And speaking of the big trip in the second half, do you feel like that's more physical or that's more mental? What are some of the things that you're preparing yourself for to push into the second half of a very busy season?
To be honest, it feels like kind of the shift to disc golf courses. You know, kind of moving off the golf courses more to the disc golf courses where we're here in Iowa, you know, which we would be normally in Europe right now, but with COVID and all that stuff, we're here in Iowa, and this is honestly one of my favorite places to come and play disc golf. I also have family here, so it's really cool to be able to see them, but I mean, these courses are amazing out here.
Well, and I've seen you over in the Quad Cities, which is, you know, borders Iowa and Illinois. I haven't seen you a lot here. Have you played in this area that much, or are you more familiar with playing in the Quad Cities, which is about 2 hours east of here?
I think I've played the Des Moines Challenge 4 or 5 times, so I've played it quite a bit. Yeah, you know, I played this one, Pickard, Ewing, Big Creek, Walnut, I don't know, all those courses. And then there's another one more towards the city, I think, Grandview or something like that. So I've played all of them, and it's incredible, you know, to see how well, you know, these courses are designed, and just like the terrain and just all that, and it's like, it's nice. It is nice, and this is solely disc golf. You know, you're not gonna see. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if you'll see any dog walkers out here. You know, it's all disc golf, so it's awesome.
There's been a lot of accolades about what the club and the everyone else has done to prepare for this event, and we're playing solely at this one course, as you just mentioned. They've put in a lot of changes, and they've done a lot of things here. What about this course? I know you said the exclusivity maybe, but what else about this course do you really enjoy?
Well, it's funny because it's one of the courses. Well, they had Worlds here in 2004, I believe, and that's all I hear people talk about is like, oh, the greatest Worlds ever was in 2004 at Des Moines. I just started in 2004, but I still hear about it like today, you know. So like, to be here, playing here, it's incredible. And I mean, it's left a lasting memory on so many people's lives. So it's just a really fun place to be.
Well, this is an interesting statistic that I'm not even sure if you're aware of. You've won every event after Worlds since 2014. How have you been able to do that?
I don't know. I guess Worlds Week is a good week, and I just carried that over. But I think it's midway through the season, and I just always, you know, feel ready to go. I mean, this is the peak of the season, and that's usually, I want to be peaking around that time. So, you know, June to August is where I want to be playing my best disc golf.
Has there ever been a concern, you know, we saw Worlds was relatively early this year. It was in June. Often it's been in August.
Yeah.
But the last couple of years we've seen it in June. Does that make any difference to you whatsoever?
Not really. You know, I kind of know when it's going to be. You know, we have a little heads up on that. So I knew I needed to be playing my best a little bit earlier in the season. So whether that was a longer off season or just kind of being prepared a little bit sooner in the year to where you get less tournaments to get ready for it. But I mean, realistically, we had all last year to prepare for the Worlds this year.
All right.
Hey, Paul, this is Zach with DGN. How's it going?
Good.
Good, man. Hey, so there looks like there's a chance of inclement weather this weekend, probably 50-50 chance of rain tomorrow, same with Saturday. Does that affect your routine at all? How are you going to treat it differently if we do end up having some inclement weather?
Well, it might make it cooler out here. It rained on us yesterday in the practice round, and it was really hot, and then once it started raining, it was honestly really nice. You know, the humidity went away. It was probably about 70, 75 degrees, so it was actually really nice. So hopefully it's that kind of rain and not thunderstorms. But, I mean, we've been very fortunate this year. At least I have. All the tournaments I've played in, I don't think I've been rained on once this year. So hopefully it stays at less than a 50% chance, or it continues to go down, because it's been nice. But I got my umbrella and stuff ready. But just being out here, I think there's a lot of cover. I don't think we're going to be struggling too much with it.
Sounds like you want some rain, but just the right kind of rain.
Oh, exactly. Just a little bit. Just cool it down a little bit, and that's all I want.
Awesome. And you mentioned that Worlds is you envision that as the peak of the season. It's kind of the biggest event.
Yeah.
So with that kind of coming right before a huge grind, before this big second half of the season in the Midwest swing, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay consistent? What do you do to not peak at Worlds, but to continue your play being at a high level after that?
Yeah, I mean, this is usually Worlds time, Europe time. You got the majors going on. So, I've worked my butt off in the off season to where playing the tournaments is the fun and the easy part. So I'm just out here playing. I'm just out here having fun. So as long as I'm not burnt out by this time of the year, I think that's the biggest key.
That's awesome. Then one more question for you. You guys are doing some amazing things with the Paul McBeth Foundation. You've got one course installed, 2 more on the way. Just want to give you a second if you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the projects you guys have coming up, or if anybody wanted to learn more about that, where could they go?
Yeah. We have 2 people down there right now scouting out the areas, checking out the courses. We already said we're going to be there in Colombia and we're going to be there in Guatemala, and so we sent some people down there to see the properties and kind of let's lay out kind of a course and ideas like that. And they are, I believe, in Colombia right now, but they called immediately when they got, after their first or second day down there in Guatemala and said this is absolutely beautiful. They're excited, seeing the disc golf culture that's already developing down there. And then they said that they were able to see volcanoes go off and stuff like there's incredible stuff. So I'm excited to get down there this winter and see how it's going and just kind of continue to push it forward. I think they're in Colombia now. I haven't heard anything back yet on their Colombia trip so far, but it's exciting. And I know we got 1, maybe 2 more projects set before the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to getting those announced. But it's incredible to see, and we're getting a lot of sponsors lined up right now, so we can continue doing this, carrying forward.
Well, that's awesome. Good luck this weekend, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cool.
Perfect.
We're definitely going to see you soon.
now is 5-time world champion Paige Pierce. Paige, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
By all accounts, well, by at least all of your social media accounts, it looks like you haven't really concerned yourself with disc golf too much in the last couple of weeks. What have you been doing with your time, and are you ready to go this week?
Yeah, after Worlds, it's nice to take a little break. No matter what the outcome is, win or lose, you kind of it feels like it all just pinnacles into that, and then after it's nice to just take a breath and relax and kind of reset for the second half of the season. I think I saw the Pro Tour post today that this is the first event of the second half of the year, and so it feels like that for us players as well. And it was nice to just take a week off with family, celebrate. We did a Christmas since we didn't get together for Christmas in December, so did that, and then I went straight to Michigan to promote the new disc that Discraft and I are coming out with, and did a bunch of video stuff and promotions and meetings like that, and then I just got here late last night.
Well, I can't let you off that easy. What give us some insights on this disc? What's some details, you're working on it, but what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see some videos coming out this week, but basically it's a Speed 7. It's called the Passion is the name. It's going to be kind of like a throwback kind of disc. We're all, at least the manufacturers have in the recent years have been coming out with all these fast overstable discs to kind of cater to the pros and faster arm speed players, and I wanted to create a disc that was better for slower arm speed players and was kind of more versatile and something that kind of has been overlooked in the recent years, which is those slower speed discs, Speed 7. It's going to be kind of like a Cyclone, kind of like an XS, if you remember those old school discs. And just a slower speed disc that has a lot of glide and is available in lightweight. Discraft doesn't have many discs that are available in lightweight, and so this was my number one intention, was to make a lightweight driver. Well, and besides being busy with that, of course, you've been working on some other stuff, and I think it's become news that you're working on a new vehicle, and we're going to see that. Yeah. What prompts that? Is that expansion? Is that a different setup that you need? Yeah, with the van, it's because my van currently right now has 130,000 miles on it. Starting to kind of wonder how much longer it's going to last, and I don't want to be in the middle of the season and be like, oh no, what do I do? So kind of preventative, getting ready for, I guess like you're saying, expansion. This vehicle only has 9,000 miles and it has a shower and a toilet now. So some upgrades, luxury additions, but I know a toilet's not quite luxury, but it feels like it to me, not having a toilet in the van for the last few years. And so then you also said you just got here last night. Of course, you've been very busy. Do you feel fully prepped? Did you get one round in today? Did you walk the course? What's kind of the game plan? I'm about to go out there right now. It's only 2-something, so I'm going to play around, see what holes I need to go back and work on, and if any, and go back out there a second time. Pretty much my commitment is to be here until dark. So, try to nail out as many problem holes that I have, and hopefully out here there's not too many. I came out here a few years ago for the Des Moines Challenge. I didn't play, but I caddied for Robert McCall actually at the time, and I remember walking the course, and I have a good memory of all the holes. So I'm curious to see the changes, what we're going to play for the FPO pads, and this is the first event I think all year, don't quote me on it, but that I haven't heard one complaint about. You have certain players that are like, oh, this course is too long, this course is too whatever, and I've only heard good things. So I'm really excited to get out there right now and go prep, get to learn the course. Yeah, and that's certainly a high bar. We know that everyone's trying to get the courses dialed in, and maybe speak a little bit to putting this event on the schedule this year. Of course, Sula and Norway, isn't happening, and our European swing isn't happening, but to change things up and to have this event put on the tour, you seem like you pretty much just go with the flow, and it seems like it's going to be a great addition. Yeah, totally. I mean, any event that the Pro Tour picks up, that they have already had success before the Pro Tour name was attached to it, and I think we've seen that. We've seen a lot of our now touring competitors have come here and won. We've seen Cale LaVisca, Terry Rothlisberger, James has been here quite a few times. So it's the Pickard Park and the Des Moines Club they're no strangers to high-level competition. So now throwing the Pro Tour stamp on it sounds like they deserve it, and I'm excited to see how this weekend goes. All right, I think we've got one or two additional questions.
Hi, Paige. This is Zach with the DGPT. How are you?
Good.
Good. So you'd kind of mentioned it. This is the first Elite Series event of the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. What are your goals heading into the second half of the year?
Oh, it is the second half, but it is still the same year. I know that with Worlds, I just fell a little bit behind on the Pro Tour standings and also the Player of the Year race. So my goals now are to kind of bounce back up, try to make a charge in the second half of the season to get back on top for that. And it's been a good year for me so far, and to try to kind of keep that going and just really, it's like every event that I play, I want to play as best as I possibly can. If that comes out with a win, then I'm stoked about that. But really, I just want to continue to shoot above my rating, raise my rating back up, and continue to grow as a player, because I know, every event is basically practice for the next, and we got lots of young guns up and coming. So I want to keep that repetition of practice, and continue to get better.
Absolutely. And the second half, the tour moves east, away from the West Coast and into the Midwest and the East Coast. Do the courses, do they bring you any different challenges? Do you prepare for these courses any differently, or do you find, your routine doesn't really change?
I think the courses change a lot, and I think that's one of the beauties of the tour, is that we go through all parts of the country. We see high elevation, we see low elevation, we see lots of OB, we see tight woods, and that's about what we're going to get into in the second part of the year in the East Coast. It's really tight, lots of long par fours through woods, and that's part of disc golf that I truly love the most, is seeing the disc fly through the trees. And so I'm getting really excited for tournaments coming up, Maple Hill, Green Mountain, all those kind of events where you really have to shape shots.
Absolutely. And with that, do you put anything else in your bag? Does it stay pretty much the same, or do you find yourself selecting different discs for these courses that bring a little bit more of a technical challenge?
Yeah, for the most part, I have the same bag all year round. It's just which disc I'm really going towards for the majority of the event. In the beginning of the season, I'm throwing a lot of Zeus's, Nukes, overstable fast discs on these ball golf courses, trying to get a lot of distance. And second part of the year, I'm going to be relying a lot on fairway drivers and mid-ranges, and then my soul.
Awesome. I think we have one or two more here from Terry.
And I do have one coming in from Mo back at the studio asking, is there any added excitement playing a course originally designed by a fellow five-timer in Juliana Korver?
Yeah.
Not sure she was a five-timer at that time, but obviously the world champion. Any excitement there?
Yeah, I'm curious to see, to talk with her. And I know that we played together first round, so I'm kind of going to pick her brain on what was going into the decision making. So, I just found that out in the last couple days, so I haven't spoke with her about it yet, but I'm really curious to see what influence she had and what made those decisions. I had the privilege of practicing with her at Worlds, and I really admired the way that she practiced on every single hole. We were sharing a golf cart, and she was taking notes on her, like a voice memo of okay, if you land short, this, if you land long, and then I would see her putt from all of those spots that she just spoke about. So, I know that she has a really good golf brain, and I'm really excited to see her creation out here.
All right, and then the final one on that is, if you were given the opportunity to design a course, would that be something that excited you?
I'm not there yet, but I think, I want to tackle every single thing I can in disc golf. So I'm sure I'll get to a point where that seems appealing to me, but right now I'm having a great time playing them.
All right, Paige Pierce, your five-time world champ. We'll see you on the feature card during round number 1. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
is Terry Rothlisberger, who's on a little bit of a heater, man. Last couple of weekends, you've picked up a couple of victories, and then last weekend at the Silver Series event, you were just edged out in the playoff. How's your game feeling?
I was feeling really good. I think I only missed like 4 or 5 putts inside the circle last weekend. My circle 2 was looking and feeling really good. And I'm just getting the more birdie chances compared to like the last, like before, like the West Coast swing.
Do you feel like there's anything in your game that you can specifically point to? You just said you're getting more birdie looks, but what's changed that you're seeing more of those birdie looks?
Definitely confidence. Just being able to throw the shot that I know I can throw, and you're just, feeling a lot more confident when on the green. Like, I don't have to force myself to put it close because I know I can make the putt.
Coming and playing here is almost like a second home to you. Of course, you hail out of Minnesota, but you come down here and play quite often. In fact, your worst finish at this event is second place, and that includes a victory along with a few ties for first where you were just edged out. What is it about coming to play here that sees you so on the podium so often?
I love the course. Like, usually we play 4 different courses in 2 days, and it's unbelievable. The community, just everyone, the TDs, just Ty, what he's done to this course. Like, he made the course longer, so it's going to be a little bit harder, but I'm hoping I can still put the putter in the basket.
Yeah, again, speaking to that, you're now just playing the one course here. As you said, they've made a few adjustments. They've had to make it a little bit longer and more challenging, but you were saying you weren't necessarily excited about that length. Do you feel like you're at a disadvantage to a few of our other maybe longer throwers in the game, or?
A little bit, but I put some different discs in my bag to hopefully make the shots easier. If the wind's down, I might be able to reach a couple of the holes, but if it's windy, it's gonna make, especially hole 1, like it's 810 feet. Just, that's a insane starting hole. I don't really know what to do. Like, if it's a headwind, I don't think I'll be able to get it, but who knows?
Well, so now you're one of the most seasoned and most successful players of this entire event. What could you share with someone out there that maybe is seeing Iowa disc golf for the first time or is thinking about traveling here or what they're going to experience on screen? What are some things that you might share with someone that's new to it?
Ty and Wander Disc Golf is doing like an amazing job with this course. This course has never looked better. I recommend, if you come here, definitely play this event and check out the Des Moines disc golf community. It's awesome. But being on the course, don't throw off the fairways. Their bushes here are just like, it's insane. Like, you don't want to go in there. They just cut up your legs and arms, and I think that's where my success is. I don't try to push anything too hard on this course because it'll stroke you.
And then following that up, would you say that everything is fair? I mean, you're punished if you're off the fairway, but rewarded if you're throwing good shots. Would that be
yes,
a good assessment?
That is, yeah, that's definitely.
And then speak a little bit about the disc golf here in Iowa in general. What's it like compared to what we see you play in Minnesota, just a few hours north? If you were to describe the disc golf courses and the vibe, kind of just in general, what would that be for Iowa?
They have pretty much everything. Same with Minnesota. They got the tight wooded fairways. You got just wide open disc golf shots, or just prairies. They usually when someone thinks of just coming to Iowa, they're like, oh, corn. And you get to Indianola and you're coming to play Pickard, and there's not really any cornfields here that we're throwing over. It's insane, what they have done to this property, and
Wow, you've had great successes here. Backtracking just a moment, you ultimately weren't able to set yourself up to be at the World Championships. However, you said you were driving across the country at the time, and you maybe just break down, how would you describe what you saw for the final hole or the final few holes of the World Championships?
It was a dream. Like the fact that James like closed his eyes and he like took like a deep breath. And I mean, honestly, like watching him do that, I was like, I think I've been taking that into my like before I go and throw, I'll relax, like take a deep breath, and then I was literally like, what if James throws this in, like before he did it, and then he threw it in, and I was just like, my mind was blown. It was unbelievable. Definitely. If you guys haven't checked out the Disc Golf Network, check it out.
All right, well, let's carry that into my final question, which is the what if. The what if for Terry Rothlisberger. You've finished, like we said, first or second every time you've been here. This is going to be the stiffest of the competitions on
Yes.
the toughest layout. So, what if? What does that mean for you to come out either victorious or to have still a podium finish in such a competitive field this weekend?
It'll definitely be my best finish. It'll be my best finish to date, and if I can come out on top, it'd be like a dream. Just take one putt at a time and just have fun.
Hey, Terry, this is Zach with Disc Golf Network. I just got one question for you here. We are starting the second half of the season, first Elite Series event here, and what would make for a successful second half for Terry Rothlisberger? What are your goals as we head into the Midwest and East Coast swing?
So I fell back on the points for the Disc Golf Pro Tour a little bit. Hopefully I can jump back up the leaderboard and try to make the Disc Golf Pro Tour championships at the end. I still got to get my USDGC spot, and I mean, if I can hopefully maybe come out with a win or just a couple top tens, that'll be really cool. But most importantly, just having fun and like seeing everyone again. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, with the run you've been on, I have no doubt that you're going to climb up those leaderboards. Thanks, Terry. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Joining us now is Iowa's own Ben Callaway. And Ben, we've seen you performing on the big stage at a number of events in the last year and performing quite well. They're coming to your home turf. They're coming to Iowa. Everyone's here. What are you going to do to defend your turf?
Just going to be playing my game and showing these guys what's what.
So for someone who maybe isn't familiar with either Iowa disc golf or Des Moines disc golf, what are some of the attributes? What are some of the things that you could take away or that you could share with the rest of the world for what they could expect this weekend?
Well, the beautiful thing about Iowa is that it has a lot of woods golf and wide open courses, so you pretty much get a taste of everything here. What I've described to many people is Iowa's kind of like a diamond in the rough, really. It really hasn't been showed on the big stage before, so I'm really excited that the Pro Tour is here to finally highlight these courses. But yeah, what I've always told everybody is just how wonderful these courses are, and you should always come by and check them out.
And of course, a lot of great events, but one of the most notable ones that always gets referenced is the 2004 World Championships, an event I was very proud to be part of and experience as we had the combined championships taking place here. Was that well before your time, or
yeah, that
were
was
you
well
in disc
before
golf?
my time, yeah, for sure. But definitely heard many stories about the event, and very happy to be a part of this community that has held the World Championships here.
So speaking specifically to this course, you probably have more rounds, more laps around this track than most of our competitors here, as you've played it for a number of years. A little different configuration. What are some of the adjustments that you're making out here?
Some adjustments are maybe throwing a few more mid-ranges in fairway drivers, opposed to some of the holes that prior had some like putter shots. But most of that it will be also keeping in the fairway. Some of the holes have definitely been beefed up quite a bit, and a lot of OB has been brought into play. So keeping the disc in the fairway and just keeping myself in position to score is going to be key this weekend.
A teammate who we just spoke with recently, Terry Rothlisberger, mentioned that the back half feels like it's a little bit more scoreable than the front half. Is that something that you would agree with, or is it difference in games between the two of you?
No, I think I can agree with that. In my practice rounds, I noticed that when I came off with a slow start in the front, I definitely came out hot on the back nine. So, yeah, I can agree with that. So, but the front nine is scoreable, but it's definitely the harder track opposed to the back nine.
All right, and then my final question kind of feeds into that. Is there any local knowledge, anything specific about the course and how to play it that you dare share with everyone a day before the event?
Dare share. Well, maybe not dare share, but it's simple. Just, keep the discs in the fairway and make your putts.
Fair enough.
It's pretty simple.
Hey, Ben, this is Zach with Disc Golf Network. How are you today?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing great. So it looks like we might have a chance of some inclement weather this weekend, kind of 50-50 on Friday. Do you feel like that would give you the advantage, being from this area, playing this course a lot? Are you hoping for rain, or how would that affect your game? Speak a little bit on the inclement weather and kind of how you would see that affecting your game.
I don't really know if inclement weather gives anybody much of an advantage because everybody has to play in it. Some players just do better than others, but I feel like that's just mostly coming from experience. So, yeah, I guess you could say I might have a little bit of an advantage just because I am, from here in this area and play this course many times.
Absolutely. And backing up just a little bit, we just had Worlds. We're kind of heading off into the second half of the season here. How do you stay motivated? A lot of players have spoken about how they try to peak around Worlds, and do you experience any kind of hangover as we head into this second half of the season, or do you really kind of see that as, Ben Callaway, I stay consistent throughout the entire year? What is your kind of strategy with Worlds and coming off of that?
Well, for me, it's a little easier because this is actually my first year touring full-time, so I set a lot of goals at the beginning of the year that still need to be met, and so coming off of Worlds, there's still a lot of work for myself that needs to be done. So, if I had to give any advice, I would just say give yourself goals past Worlds, so that way you have something to strive for after the fact.
Absolutely. What are some of those goals that you've set, if you don't mind sharing?
One of them was reaching a 1030 rating. One is also to win a DGPT or National Tour event. So looking to do that this weekend.
Awesome. Well, hey, with the way you've been playing, I'm sure it's not going to elude you for too much longer, man.
Appreciate that.
You can see Ben Callaway on the feature card here at the Des Moines Challenge tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, Ben. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Joining us now is Calvin Heimburg. And Calvin, the week after the World Championships, it looked like you took off from competitive play, but we still found you at the Silver Series.
Mm-hmm.
Caddy duty calls, you, Zach Melton, was that the plan?
Yeah, it's just the way, everything fell. But, yeah, I didn't want to play, but I did end up in Illinois, and I was hanging out with Zach and ended up caddying for him.
So I'll follow that up by asking, was that more of a physical break or a mental break or a combination of the two where you didn't find yourself competing at the Clash at the Canyons?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I never really planned on playing that weekend. It was originally supposed to be like kind of a travel week to get over towards Europe for the European swing, and never really planned to have anything competitive-wise after that. So even though I got freed up from going across the ocean to Europe, I decided I wasn't going to play.
And once you did get there, being on the sidelines, being a caddy for a good friend, at any point do you ever feel like an anticipation of, well, man, I kind of do wish I was playing?
No. I'd already made the decision I was going to play. I do think it's tougher to sit there and kind of watch and caddy and watch someone else execute shots than it is to actually just go out and do it yourself. But yeah, I never really had a desire to play last weekend.
And if you had to give yourself a rating, last question on caddying, but if you had to give yourself a caddy rating for Zach, what would that have been?
I mean, I don't know what the scale of caddy ratings are, so it's hard to answer that, but I think I did a pretty good job. Didn't lose any of his stuff. Walked in the water to get his disc out of the water when he threw him in there. So, pretty high rating.
I'd say so. I've seen you do that actually in other states as well. I think you've done that in Florida. All right, so this course, you got here on Monday. What were you doing to prepare yourself, and how many rounds did you get in on the course?
Yeah, I was just seeing the course. I hadn't been to Pickard Park since 2017, and I know they changed the course since then, but it was just learning the shots and then kind of relearning discs, because last time I played was in Utah where discs are a little more overstable, so I was just relearning my bag to what it is normally for the rest of the year, and just seeing shots for the first time. I think I got in 4 rounds, so feel pretty good about the course. I think I'm going to go out and look at a few holes here after this interview and just make sure I'm dialed for those, but as a whole, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to attack the course.
And I was just going to say, players like you are, I feel like, the reason why they have to make some of these courses tougher. I mean, a course that is designed to be very challenging. As we continue to see our players, their skill levels increase and dominate the way people like you do, is there anything about this course that you feel suits your game, or is any hindrance, or is there anywhere you feel like maybe you can be a little bit more attacking?
No, I think there's a pretty good variety of shots out here. There's a good amount of short shots, good little mix of par fours. Some are a little more placement, and some are kind of distance, where distance helps a lot. So I don't think there's any one skill that's going to help a lot out here. I think it's a pretty well-rounded course.
Hey, Calvin, Zach with Disc Golf Network. Just to follow up on Terry's question there, are there any holes that you're looking at as that's scoreable here on this course? What holes stand out to you as the most scoreable holes?
I think every hole is birdieable out here, but as far as most scoreable, I don't know. I really haven't thought about that. There's plenty of shorter par threes that I think are kind of attack mode for everybody, and then honestly, I'm attacking every hole out here, so I don't think any of them are more or less scoreable than the others.
Sure. And this course obviously plays a lot different from the Fort and Mulligans. Do you do anything different to prepare for a course that's maybe more wooded, longer, bringing a little bit of a different look and feel than those courses that you played at Worlds?
No difference in preparation. I mean, we come out of these tournaments and we're pretty much just practicing the shots that we needed to execute in order to perform well on the course. So, I mean, the shots are definitely different, but there's no difference in preparation or warm-up for the event.
Sure. And I've got one more for you. At Worlds, it was a lot of buzz about the new haircut. What motivated the new look?
It was just hot outside. Didn't want to be that hot, so cut it off.
Utah gets hot. I'm going to give it back over to Terry for a few more.
All right, and we're going to keep rolling with with the looks, apparently. We've got Mo coming in from the studio, and he's asking if the new mustache, trying to make that's going to be a thing?
That's just laziness.
All right. And then maybe on a little bit more serious side, he's wondering, thoughts about coming off the World Championships, of course, right there in contention for the Worlds, and taking down the title. Do you consider that a disappointing finish for yourself?
Yeah, I performed very poorly in the final round. So, if I continue to perform like that, I won't have to talk to you.
Well, that wouldn't be any fun. So we're, of course, wishing for the best.
Well, me too. But, yeah, I hope I don't perform like that again.
Anything you do to mentally, how quickly do you actually get over that? Is that on the drive home, or is that something you're still thinking about days later?
I think it was pretty much done, and I was decompressed within a couple days after. Really doesn't matter at this point. I'm just out here looking at this event right now.
All right. Well, Calvin, I'm excited to talk to you all weekend long.
All right. Thank you. I hope I do.
All right. Thanks. That's Calvin Heimburg. Joining us now is our tournament director, and Ty Tannett. And Ty, what a wild ride as you're putting on this event, of course, here as an Elite Series event. Talk a little bit about how this came about.
Yeah, so I worked with the Des Moines Metro Disc Golf Club to be the tournament director this year for the Des Moines Challenge. I had a crazy idea. I came out here last September, I want to say, and I put together a little XL layout that I had a bunch of intermediate and advanced players play, and we basically made everything out of bounds, and they're like, this is crazy, this is insane. And I went to the parks director. I said, this is my idea. I think we can get the Disc Golf Pro Tour there. I think we can bring in a lot of sponsorship money, a lot of money to the community, not only the disc golf community, but obviously just the local community out here. And I started emailing and working with Seth Fenley from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and we went back and forth. And unfortunately, we were not chosen due to the PCS Sula Open kind of being the first choice with them going to Norway, which is totally understandable. You know, that would be totally awesome. I feel so bad for them that they weren't able to have it this year, which led kind of to a little bit of downtime for us. We started our registration in February, and I had already garnered over $10,000 in added cash for our pros. Started reaching out to them and letting them know, like, we have an awesome course here. We're going to try this a little differently because typically this is a 2-day, 4-course different event. And I wanted to go to the 3-day tee times 1-round event, whether we were a Disc Golf Pro Tour or not. And so we had that crazy idea, and then all of a sudden, I think it was in either late April or early May, I can't, but Seth Fenley called me from Jonesboro going, hey man, PCS Sula, it's not going to happen. We're bumping you guys up, and from there it's kind of been a whirlwind.
Well, and we're here, and now you have 140 MPO players, 24 FPO players, and you're going to be on the largest stage for the weekend. Any additional pressures, besides everything I maybe just described, but this event has had so much history throughout the years, and we've seen so many good players come through town, but now all eyes are on you this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, our local community has been wanting this, so that was one of the reasons we brought it here. We had over 100 volunteers come out and help put this course together, and we have just been so blessed by the feedback that we've received. You know, in your mind, when you envision something, you like think that you're doing a good thing, and you think that you're doing it correctly, and then but you have that nervous week, like on Monday and Tuesday when people were out here playing for the first time. I was like, man, I wonder what people are going to think. And then boom, Brody Smith goes, you know, wow, this course is amazing, man. So, and what he said is really what I wanted. He said it's a really fair course, and I think that's exactly what we wanted to create here, something that was difficult but fair for all the players.
Well, and to follow that up, a lot of players are saying that all the feedback has been positive. Of course, there's always, like you said, there can be some challenges to trying to appeal to everybody, but everything's been positive. Was there anything else that you remain nervous about? Any loose ends, or is there anything else that you're at all concerned with?
The weather. Okay. You know, obviously, if you were here on Monday, it was 95 degrees and humid. Today, it's 75 degrees, still a little bit of humidity. So that temperature drop, it can lead to various storms out here in the Midwest. And last year we had a derecho, which basically destroyed everything in our community. So that hopefully that doesn't come through. But yeah, I mean, the weather is always the biggest kind of conundrum. Like, what do you do if it comes through? But we're hoping it holds off, and as they call it, the Pickard bubble. It protects the course, and hopefully we don't have any severe weather.
So if you had any one takeaway, if we fast forwarded to Sunday night, the last putts have dropped, we've crowned our FPO and MPO champions. What's kind of the one takeaway that you want the rest of the world to, hopefully that you've displayed and shown? What's that takeaway?
Oh man, that is a great question. Just our community. You're going to see a ton of fans out here. You're going to see a ton of volunteers out here. I want everybody to know how proud of them I am for all their help to put this course together. Our parks department, Doug Byland, thank you so much for all your support, all your help. And yeah, that's it. Just our community here.
And I know it's a big ask, but also on Sunday night, do you feel like hopefully there'll be a sense of relief, but does that mean you will already have maybe plans for the next year?
Oh, yeah. I'm already thinking about the holes for next year to make them a little more difficult, because there are, you know, we were only able to do so much this year. We started with the changes in March, I believe, and we got a lot done. We put in 5 new turf tee pads and 2 entire new holes, and that was in 3 months with me just on Facebook asking people for their help. So, like I said, we had over 100 volunteers come out and help with their chainsaws, their pole saws, their skid loaders, whatever they had. So just, yeah, the community has been amazing.
And the final question for me, you talked about, envisioning events and envisioning community ties and charitable contributions and things of that nature. Is there anything that you're looking to either partner with or shout out or possibly benefit?
Yes, definitely. So as part of this idea, like in the future, my goal with, my company, Wander Disc Golf, is to support mental health organizations and people that are struggling with their own mental health. And in the future, we would love to expand that more in this tournament. This year, we are partnering with Foundation Disc Golf. And if anybody hits the basket cage thingy on hole 5, we are going to match their donation. It's going to go to the Jed Foundation based out of New York. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm Zach with DGN. Just a couple more questions here for you. So going back to the course layout, you guys are playing a little bit of a different layout than the course is originally designed on. Yeah. And what is your favorite hole on this new layout? Like you said, obviously a lot of work has gone into it. Yeah. So what sticks out?
Oh, man. I like a lot of the holes, obviously. I'm a sucker for water, though. Like, we have this gorgeous pond over here. We've put 3 holes around it. So I'm going to say out here, I'm looking forward to hole 4. It plays about 475 downhill water carry with a basket about 8 feet off the water, so I'm looking forward to how that hole plays out.
Awesome. And kind of along that line, where do you see players scoring? We've heard a couple of players, Terry Rothlisberger included, say that the back half looks like it's a little bit more scoreable than the front half, but from your perspective, what do you think?
That's because he can't throw far. But no, sorry, Terry. I think on a nice day like today, it's absolutely beautiful. Low wind, 12 to 14 down would be possible, but it looks like we're going to be expecting 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. I'm going to say around 10 or 11 will be the max score. So I would think around 30 under probably would be close.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for your time, Ty. Yeah. Ty Tannett, Tournament Director at the Des Moines Challenge. You can catch this live on DGN tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central. Thanks, Ty.
Thanks, guys.
And joining us now is 5-time disc golf world champion, Juliana Korver. Juliana, we're here. We're in Iowa. You're on the tour. You're playing disc golf every weekend. Is this the ultimate homecoming?
Yes. Simply yes.
What does it mean for you to come back here to play in Iowa, to play at a course that you were crucial with designing and implementing? What are some of those feels?
It's heavy. It's brings tears to my eyes. Just thinking about all that has happened since 1999, when I actually used to live about a mile from this course, and we got the idea. There was a church that wanted to maybe do something so the kids had something to play with, and there was a connection. And we came out here and we looked at it, and this is amazing. Let's absolutely do it. And from all the work that we did to clear out the fairways, and there were a couple, like there was one that went through the woods right there that's no longer here, but that was a lot of work. And then 20 plus years later, almost the biggest stage in disc golf is here, and I'm still a part of it. Yeah, it's awesome.
What have been some of the conversations, some of the people that were maybe there and part of this 20 years ago? What have some of those reconnections been like over these last few days?
I'm sorry, I can't really put words to it. I think I wrote this in one of my blogs. I continually have to pinch myself because the way that I am being accepted and addressed is really amazing. That's weak. That word is weak. I couldn't be more thankful. I really feel like I'm in the right place right now. 2 months ago when I lost my job, it's like, I really don't want to go interview. I'm terrible at interviews. And, well, maybe I'll just go play Frisbee for a while. And I think it was just the best thing that I could have done, because I am having the time of my life.
Well, speaking of coming back, we know that the Frisbee family is pretty warm, welcoming, and endearing. Hopefully you're feeling all of that as you're describing. What are some of your ways that you share the Frisbee family with others that maybe don't understand our culture, understand what you're going through week in and week out? How do you describe the community that we do have? How do you share that with others that maybe aren't part of it right now?
You said you were going to ask hard questions. That is a hard question. Well, so even when I'm outside of the disc golf world, I'm kind of still in the Frisbee world, because I'm a part of the overallers and the freestylers and the DDCers, so they all get it. It's all under the same umbrella. So many of my acquaintances are well versed in exactly what it means to be part of the Frisbee family.
Going back to the course for just a moment, what we're playing and what we're seeing this weekend, how much of it resembles? Are there holes that are spot on 100% the exact same, and or how much transition and transformation have we seen over these 20-some years?
Oh, it definitely has. I would say at least 9 or 10 holes that are extremely similar, reminiscent. Well, I could point, but the audience is not going to know where I'm pointing. The holes around 12, 13, 14, that area was not available for us originally. We were told that the city was going to build a lake, man-made lake there, and so we were only allowed to use that side of the park. So obviously all of those are new for the 2004 world. But one has been lengthened extraordinarily, but it's sort of similar, and 2 is different, 3 is similar, 4 is a little different, but we had a basket. I can go through, and like 17 is pretty much identical, I believe. 9 is identical. There are definitely definitely holes that I, like, 16, yeah, 16. Someone just about died on a tractor when we were clearing that one out because they were going side hill and it almost tipped. You know, I have all these little memories that come back when I'm out there, and it's awesome.
Yeah, withstanding the test of time, but then a few slight adjustments for our top professionals here 20-some years later. And speaking of top professionals, I had caught wind. I wasn't here early enough, but you were actually out here practicing in the rain. Is that prepping yourself for what we may see this weekend?
Well, yes. Yeah. I didn't look and see when is the rain going to start. That's when I'm going to play. But I was actually happy that the rain started when I got to the parking lot because, yes, I think that it's a safe bet to say that we're going to be playing in the rain this weekend. And living in Southern California for the last 7 years, I no longer know what that's like. So it's important because your grip changes and your distance changes and your line is a little bit different, so you can't be quite as aggressive. So it's extremely valuable to play in the conditions that you're going to potentially, well, you know, and even if it doesn't rain this weekend, it's going to rain sometime this tour. So, yeah, you betcha. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that I was going to go out and play during the rain.
And then my final question would be, you know, as you just referenced the 2004 Worlds, many say that's one of the best World Championships that's ever been hosted. So much pride here. What is it about Iowa Disc Golf, Des Moines Disc Golf that you could share with the world who maybe haven't been here to experience it and they haven't seen it on the big screen yet or on the network yet? What would you say is the one thing you want to share about it?
I think you really hit the nail on the head with the pride. You know, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And the people are very generous and very kind and very hardworking, and all of those together give you something like this. So, and also land relative to the rest of the country is free. So there's a lot of, you know, wonderful, beautiful scenery and landscape, and especially now that we're down in the southern part of the state, you know, we've got these rolling hills and you know, the beautiful grass that you don't have to do anything. It's just there. It just happens. And the wonderful big mature trees, they just happen. You know, it's got a lot going on for it before the wonderful people then layer on top of it and make it extraordinary.
Hey, Juliana, Zach with Disc Golf Network. Have a couple more questions for you here. So you're talking about the course, and you mentioned there's a lot of similarities and plenty of differences from the course that you designed way back when. But when you're out there, does it still feel like the course that you designed all those years ago?
Yes. You know, I could be swinging on the swing set, and this feels like home. Yeah, this has always been a magical place for me. I don't know if it's because I helped put the course in. I don't know if it's because I designed it. I don't know what it is. It's just, I have just always loved this property.
That's awesome. And you mentioned so you've been back on tour for a few weeks now, and you know, we're headed into the second half of the season. You had a real nice finish last week at the Silver Series, Clash of the Canyons. What part of your game are you focusing on as you head into the second half here?
I am focusing on bringing out my best stuff instead of just trying to be safe. So, you know, I don't normally I never would throw 100%, and I'm not planning on it now, but, you know, I could notch it up to maybe 80% or 85%. You know, I have gotten my legs under me enough that I feel like I'm almost ready to start attacking a little bit. You know,
think you'll play more aggressive this weekend?
My version of aggression is probably not the same as maybe the top players of today. So this is all relative to me. So yes, will you see it? Probably not.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, Juliana. You can catch her tomorrow during the first round of the Des Moines Challenge on Disc Golf Network.
Joining us now for our final interview is Jeff Spring, the CEO and tour director here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Jeff, new event here on the tour. We kind of got a little bit of the story from Ty as to how it got added, but things switching up. Always trying to stay adaptable?
Yeah, I mean, it's the last remnants of the pandemic's effect on the tour, we hope. We've gone through a heck of a year and a half since last March, having to suspend the tour for about 3 months before we started back up with the DDO, and I hope this is a bookend. I hope that this is the last time we're going to have to make an adjustment like this. But in terms of why Des Moines and how we ended up here, we worked with Ty in the off season, and we were really aiming for a Silver Series event here. So we kind of vetted it. Seth Fenley, our operations director, had worked directly with Ty, and when it came time to make the call on PCS Sula, which is also going on just in Norway, just for Norwegians this week, and we're disappointed we couldn't be there. But when we had to make the call to come back to the U.S., we did want to replace it with an Elite Series event, and we were so impressed with even just the preparation, attention to detail, and what we saw as a Elite Series venue here from Ty, that we said this is a great opportunity for us to shift right back to something that we were already familiar with through planning.
Well, and you just said that you've been impressed with the staff and the ground crew here. Our players kind of echo that. They've been talking about how excited they are to play here, to take on this track, everything that seems to be set in all the right ways. What's the feedback that you've had directly with them in talking to them? Has anybody else shared anything specific with you?
I think it's just an excitement to be back in the Quad Cities area and enjoy the rich history of the area, plus the expanded changes to this track specifically, Pickard Park. I know that there's a big event going on. It's not just MPO, FPO, but the local teams made the adjustment so we can focus on MPO and FPO, and the players have been thrilled with the results. I think everybody was excited to see any changes from the past. I know we've had a World Championship here, and that's one of the big reasons we were confident coming here as well, is because of the rich history. Juliana having designed it, Jay and Des being from the area. We talked to our crew, Nate and Val, also have great things to say about it, and it's just a great community. We knew that it was going to be a strong event, and we're hearing that from the players for sure.
Yeah, and just to assist you a little, we've actually seen World Championships and majors take place in the Quad Cities. We move over a couple hours to Des Moines, where we're at in the Des Moines area. Is this your first time in this kind of area taking on high-level golf for you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been through. I've stopped in Des Moines before, but yeah, this is my first time here. I'm very excited to be here. And a couple other things that we were able to do is to have Kale Visca come down and check out the design and work with Ty. So we've had a lot of hands on the ground, a lot of touch points here. But for me personally, excited to say that this is like my first time at Pickard specifically.
Well, and I think as everyone else has talked about, you're going to be wildly impressed, and I know all of our players are going to have this great track to play on. I want to jump ahead just a couple days after the event. Some other big news that's come about is talking about the Pro-Am celebrity match taking place over at the Funky Farms. People very excited about it. Can you just give any clarifications as to what people should expect, in terms of the coverage and/or things that how they're going to be partnering up with the Disc Golf Network?
Yeah, I mean, to start, we're excited about this concept for about a year. We know that a lot of high-profile folks enjoy disc golf, and we wanted to find a format in order to kind of show that love and expand the depth of the game kind of into different sports and different celebrity pursuits. When Ben Askren called and said, hey, do you guys want to partner up? We were like, okay, let's accelerate this plan. And we're really excited to be going to Funky Farms. Ben is a huge advocate of the game, obviously an Olympian, very decorated MMA fighter, and he's got a lot of folks that he knows in the MMA and throughout a lot of sports. So it's going to be really fun in terms of coverage. We're not going to be live. But we are going to have our Disc Golf Network team on the ground creating like a series of 4 to 5 different exclusive pieces for the Disc Golf Network. We're going to invite a lot of the athletes and celebrities to create content, not just on social, but also doing some vlogs and getting some YouTube content out there. So there's going to be more content than ever, I think, for an event of this size going out there. There's going to be a ton of places to watch. So we'll put something out early next week telling folks how you can watch it, what channels to watch on YouTube, when the exclusive pieces are going to hit the Disc Golf Network. And UDisc is partnering up with us on this as well, so people can follow live scoring. But basically, the format is everybody's going to play a singles round, and then we're going to group based on scores, celebrities and pros into a doubles round, and we'll release the final details of the format as well.
Yeah, and it just seems like there's so much excitement surrounding it. Also, just to make the clarification that as of right now, that is not being deemed as a public access. People, fans in the Milwaukee area, which I'm very familiar with, not able to come out and be on site. I just wanted to make that clarification for everyone.
That's
correct?
right. No, I think, and you know probably better than I, that's probably important to make that clarification. But it is a private venue. There will be some VIPs there being able to watch Terry Miller play some disc golf. You know, maybe we should switch roles and I can interview you about this. But we know you're going to be able to throw and as a celebrity, even though you have a storied professional career that maybe is behind, the best is behind you. Anyway, that said, no spectators and kind of limited parking. We hope that this is like, we're kind of throwing this together in a few, 6-8 weeks, something like that, since the idea percolated. And I just want to give a big shout out and thanks to our media team and our team for being up for it, adding it to the schedule. But I think that this is just going to get it off the ground. We hope next year to be at a venue where maybe we can have a lot of spectators and have a really good time.
All right, and my final question for you. We talk about the athletes' responses and their reactions to seeing James Conrad and the holy shot. We were almost shoulder to shoulder, but share with the world what was going through your mind as we watched that shot go in at the World Championships.
Yeah, hard to say something that maybe hasn't been said about it, and so I'll just dive right into my experience. I was actually not really focused on what was happening because I was trying to line up our crew to create a championship moment for the broadcast, and I do that at a lot of the final putts and try to curate, make sure everybody is aware of what's going on, that everything's lined up. We had just done that for the FPO championship moment with you, Ter. And so I was kind of talking to Jamie and PDGA Executive Director Joe Chargaloff and Assistant TD Rob. And then I heard a commotion starting. I was actually saying, like, okay, hey, when Paul taps in to win, this is what you're going to do, and you're going to let that moment breathe. This is what you're going to do, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden I hear a commotion. I turn around and see the disc coming through there. I said, oh, that looks pretty good. And then boom, and it was like an explosion, an eruption. And I was shocked. I didn't really understand what had happened for a minute, and then it hit me because it was just this wave of emotion and like a bomb went off, honestly. I was like just outside of the OB, just outside of the circle. And I didn't celebrate really right away, and then I was like, maybe I should be celebrating. All these people are running around, so I took about 5 seconds to run around, and then I was like, no, I should be stopping people from doing this. We need to finish this tournament. So then I started pushing people back and saying, hey, get back, we need to get a meter off the line. There was for a while there was people inside the OB line, and at this point I did not want Paul to have to wait to throw his shot. We wanted to settle it down. We wanted the competition to continue. So I was just saying, get a meter off the line. Everybody get back to where you were. And I was trying to help reinstill order. But yeah, incredible.
Yeah, how you managed to get out of your American flag shorts and then back into the role that you were doing was actually...
I threw my mullet wig on. And took that off. Yeah,
it was perfect. Here's Zach to close out.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good.
Good, man. I want to continue on that line of questioning just a little bit, but I want to shift towards the days after James made that incredible shot to end Worlds. You're the man in charge here, the Disc Golf Network, so I imagine you were in a pretty hot demand after that shot went in and after that World Championship finish. Just talk about your life in those days following.
It was exciting. It was great to see the pickup of the moment that kind of transcended disc golf, went into the national sports landscape, and there was a ton of organizations that were reaching out for comment, reaching out for use of the shot, and just a lot of people commenting on what a special moment it was. I was really proud of our Disc Golf Network team for capturing the moment in the way that they did, and I love all of our post-production partners, and like really value everything that they do. But that moment was just such a special moment for live that the next few days we really soaked it in and enjoyed it and spread it, and it was a special few days, I think, not just for us, but for the entire disc golf community.
Absolutely. And so much excitement happening around disc golf right now. The ESPN announcement dropped just after James made that shot. It was not related.
It wasn't,
fortuitous
no.
timing. However, there's big excitement with the partnership with ESPN coming up. Portland Open will be the first event that gets broadcast. How are you kind of looking at that partnership and kind of the future of the sport as disc golf continues to trend upwards?
Yeah, we see national exposure in the media landscape as a positive. We have our bread and butter, our media plan, our media partners that are important in post-production. We're growing very quickly, faster than we could have imagined on the live side. And, that's really fueled by the grassroots of disc golf, like people that love disc golf, that know it, that watch it all the time. Free content is huge too, but in terms of national, I think it just opens us up to a sea of new people. The pandemic, we all know that there was double the amount of disc golfers afterwards, and so all those new folks might not know, to go to Gatekeeper or GK or Jomez or the Disc Golf Network to get their content. But if they see it on a national broadcaster like ESPN, it'll just kind of fuel that fire and help them take their love of the sport to the next level. So I see this as kind of like a cherry on top of the great media that we already produce. And if we can fund it, and if we can develop those relationships and those contacts, I think we're all for it. And putting a bigger spotlight on the sport, it just kind of rewards all the hard work everyone's doing, from the athletes to the organizers to the fans to the local communities, the clubs, the leagues, everything.
Absolutely. And my last question here for you, we're headed into the second half of the season, first Elite Series event of the second half.
Yeah.
What would be a successful second half for the Disc Golf Network, for the DGPT? What are you looking for in terms of goals, benchmarks?
I think just to continue to fade into the background of the fantastic competition that the players put out every single event. I mean, our goal is not to stand out. It's to create the stage and the platform for the athletes to shine on. And that's the same with the local communities and local organizing committees that we partner with. So, we want to create a seamless product where people love watching live, watch the post-production, hear about the disc golf, but really focus on the play and elevate up. In terms of the national networks, we do have a few more events that we expect to announce. We're looking for some broadcast dates, and we'll try to get there. Nothing guaranteed yet, but I'm excited about the Portland Open. I'm excited about the Tour Championship. I'm excited to announce more stuff. But I think it would be successful if we get into a good rhythm, that our staff and players are happy and healthy, and kind of coast into the Tour Championship with an ever-growing fan base.
Can't ask for much more than that. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you. We will have the Des Moines Challenge coming to you live tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Central, on Disc Golf Network.
Thanks.